What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Hangar Bay. Happy Sunday. I hope today finds you well. Just wanted to pop on, let you know there's a couple things coming up for the channel. I'm really excited about because I told a couple people in the Discord, but I haven't actually made an announcement yet. Over the next year, I am having some stuff delivered to the house, and we are going to be building our own R2-D2. So I'm just letting everybody know it's going to be starting next month. I'm super excited about it. That's pretty much it. We're coming up on 750 subs when we're going to do the next Discord update, which is going to bring some pretty interesting stuff. But without any further ado, let's bring some people in from the community. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
What's up?
What's
How y'all
up?
doing today?
What's up?
I feel like it's been forever. We haven't talked to each other in so long.
Yeah,
No, I just got off Echo Base.
I was watching that.
So
Yeah, I saw you there.
how'd you feel about that last Bad Batch episode?
Sweet.
Liked it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all right.
Fair.
It's all right.
I thought it was like the first episode that really felt like Clone Wars again.
Mm.
No, that
Was
is
it,
true.
was it because of all the vehicles?
Partly,
Yeah.
yes. But no, it was also like because they were more concentrating on more point of views and more world building than just the Bad Batch.
Mm.
yeah. I think they should have done that from the beginning. They were going to do these filler episodes a lot.
Well, I think
Focus
we
on-
were kind of hoping this thing was going to start picking up here, but it still feels kind of fillery. Not filler.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a little bit of building for sure. It seems with Hera being there, all this stuff. You know, we're starting to get some people that we recognize for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a two-parter because of the leaked next episode title.
What was it?
It was Rescue on Ryloth, so
Yeah.
Oh,
seems like there's going to be some sort of rescue. So
oh, we
Right.
had those, didn't we?
yeah,
Didn't we have those titles? Yeah, and then they were unconfirmed, and then they were reconfirmed again.
yeah.
Well, yeah, we weren't
Yeah.
sure if they were correct, but like the last few were correct, so
Yeah. What's up, Red Son?
I gotcha.
Yeah, that clone commander, how is he like all
Captain.
captain and friendly and he's just doing...
I think he's supposed to be pretty important. I don't know. I always watch Star Wars Meg. I love Star Wars Meg, and she's always got good insight. And she's saying that he's going to be pretty important. And she makes a good point in saying Filoni never really introduces these characters unless he's doing it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
Well, yeah.
though. Like, what's he going to do? Maybe he's part of the clone uprising or something? Because it definitely seems like he's not happy with the commands coming down from the Empire.
I could see him being like a lead up character to a big plot twist on how the inhibitor chip works. Because I've seen a couple of theories. Like one, for instance, that I really like is that like over time the chip kind of loses its power. So especially like Generation 1 clones, like they start to get their personality back, even though the chip is active. Like
Right.
I'd still say he's more obedient. I mean, he still follows orders, but he starts to question stuff. And he seems to still have his relationship with Jem.
Right.
So I'm kind of on that kind of train. I really like that idea. Which would also explain why Generation 1's like Rex had like the split second before they turned.
Yeah, they seem like
so
they were
they could explain
definitely,
that
they
in
had a
that
little
way.
bit more time. Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe the Order 66 order expires. It sort of dies out slowly. Maybe they need to explain it a little bit better in upcoming episodes. I don't think he was under the influence of the inhibitor chip, as Trike said.
Right. Daryl,
Sir.
how you feeling, bud?
Oh, man, I'm good. It's just been a hell of a week. Yeah, with the captain guy, he you could tell he was really not digging what the Empire was handing out, and he's just like, I really don't want to do that, but I have to follow orders, so
Mm-hmm.
he was real reluctant. But other than that, it's just kind of like a Clone Wars-esque type filler episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got Lats and we got the what are those things
Turbo
called?
tank.
Juggernauts.
Juggernaut Turbo Tank, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of cool stuff. I was thinking that we were gonna start seeing kind of like what Red Sun's talking about, where the vehicles were gonna start looking a little bit more Imperial, but hasn't been quite phased out yet.
I mean, the colors have changed to Imperial.
Mm-hmm.
So like Venators are gray and gunships don't have the markings, and
Wouldn't that take a couple months to like develop? Like, okay, we need to phase out all the Clone Wars crap. Let's start rolling new designs for the TIE fighters and whatnot.
well, to be honest, like I don't want to see any like TIE fighter or any of that stuff in Bad Batch. It's just too early. Like they're gonna keep on using clone stuff for a while.
Yeah,
It's only been a few weeks since Order
Yeah.
66.
Yeah.
I like it
Too
to be a
early.
little bit of a slow transition, like vehicle-wise.
Yeah, but I mean, they already had a lot of the vehicles in place because at the end of Revenge of the Sith, they already had the Star Destroyers and the TIE Fighters. And granted, they had the still little nose on them, but
I was about to say in Revenge of the Sith, like they still used the Venator, it just didn't have the red stripe, so it was
It just
still a
wasn't-
Republic ship.
Just
It's just
reskin.
colored in the Empire. It was just completely gray.
You'll have to excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm completely dead today. I spent all day yesterday out in the sun and just
It's okay.
I had a little bit. I think we all kind of went a little crazy yesterday. I know, Strike, you were out maybe doing a little bit of partying. Aiden sounded like you were doing a little bit of partying, taking some shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're all feeling a little draggy today, and it's been slow for Star Wars news, I feel like. But somebody was saying there were some leaks about Jedi Fallen Order 2. Did anybody hear about that?
It might be something about a EA play. Because EA Star Wars tweeted something out about, now this is the time you want to be playing Fallen Order. Or something like that. Something about Fallen Order. And everyone thinks it's going to be about EA Play because that's going to be taking place at the end of the month, I think. Or the beginning of August. I'm pretty sure it's the end of this month, though.
I think it's the 22nd. Let me check.
July 22nd?
Yeah.
Damn, so we could get Fallen Order 2 content before.
I hope we get a Lego Star Wars trailer from EA Play.
Yeah. Isn't that
Really
postponed
want
into
that.
next year now?
That was postponed, but we don't know when it's coming out. I
Right.
thought
I
it
mean-
was going to be toward the end of 2021.
Right.
But there's nothing about it.
Clever enough, they never gave us a release date, so
Yeah.
Of course.
It's probably unlikely to see Lego Star Wars at EA Play because that's by TT Games and they're not under EA.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Who is
Yeah.
that? Is TT their own entity?
They're under Warner Brothers games, but right now Warner
FWB.
Brothers is like in a whole like they're trying to sell parts of their company, so it's kind of all unclear right now. So
I gotcha.
I did hear about that. About there was an insider, and he said that Warner Brothers might sell off the developer of the Lego Star Wars games, Warner Brothers
yeah.
games. Yeah.
Mm.
So I don't think it'll affect Skywalker Saga if that
Yeah,
game is
probably.
ever coming out.
The only thing it'd really affect if the deal went through before it was released is just like published by whatever. But
Right.
it wouldn't do anything with the game, so because it's been in development for so many years. But yeah.
I'm kind of wishing I'm agreeing with Mr. 2 Star Wars, or that might be Mrs. I'm not sure. Maybe it's both you guys. If Fallen Order 2 is a true open world, that would be cool because it was still kind of an on rails adventure in a way. Even though it was an open world, it was definitely still kind of like an on rails adventure. It'd be cool if it was massively open.
Mm-hmm.
You could
But
fly
I mean-
your starship.
right.
Yeah.
But isn't like Ubisoft working on an open world Star Wars
Yeah.
game?
Mhm.
So
yeah,
I
they
mean,
are.
I'm kind of like thinking we're gonna get like I think it's going to be a bounty hunter. I mean, I think we don't know exact stuff, but I could imagine it being a bounty hunter based game.
There's been
Yeah.
leaks, but nothing official.
I just think like Red Redemption, Red Dead Redemption, but with like a Mandalorian bounty hunter, that would be so
Yeah.
freaking
Yeah,
great.
that would be really great.
That would be
Yeah.
freaking sick. Yeah.
Yeah, the leaks is that it's gonna be like kind of a you build your own bounty hunter sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And you get to team up with people and explore different planets. But again, it's
Take
not
on contracts. Oh, that's
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
I really wanted to. I really hope that Darth Vader makes an appearance in Fallen Order 2, and you can play as him, and
Oh, like the Force Unleashed.
that'd be cool.
yeah, take advantage of showing Vader's true power.
Mhm.
I loved how in Fallen Order you couldn't even touch Vader; you just had to run.
Yeah.
I love that. That was so.
That's
cool.
how you do Vader, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that is Darth Vader.
It felt like
I
Vader.
think that's like one of my favorite lines is when he says, you would be wise to surrender, and he's like, yeah, probably.
Probably.
After he threw like his
Yeah.
master like
A
over
Jedi bastard with his,
like
with his fingers. He just flicked her off the edge with the Force. A
Yeah.
Jedi master. Like, nah, you can't fight that.
So
Yeah, what
So-
Redson's saying is that I wish that there were more planets too, because apparently there were going to be more, but they got scrapped.
They were going to use Umbara.
Yeah,
Yeah, Umbara and Megiddo, I think.
my
Yeah.
Is that
God.
what Redstone was saying? Umbara and Megiddo. Generally
Yeah,
thought
they-
we were going to get those, yeah.
they were pre-order bonuses, but apparently like in the files there was like more planned stuff in the.
Yeah. I mean, the
Yep.
game was huge still.
Yeah,
But I'm never going to complain getting more locations.
You know, if
Yeah,
you go
right.
into the game's files, Darth Vader's mission is completely different.
Mhm.
You still run from Darth Vader, but there was supposed to be a whole different section where you got to climb through air vents, and Darth Vader will like rip you out of the air vents or something. I saw.
Yeah, wasn't that a YouTube video? A guy was
Yeah.
doing it on like it was an
Yeah.
unfinished
Yeah.
level.
I saw someone doing it, and I was like, "That's so cool!"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Darth Vader, just anything he touches is gold.
right.
I think it'd be interesting if like the beginning of the second game is like he sees like some of the other Inquisitors and like orders them to like hunt down Cal and the others. And then yeah, I'd like to see the Grand Inquisitor make an appearance somehow.
Yeah, that would be cool because now it's because Trilla's dead, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
I know who's the big one? Is that the second sister?
Ninth.
The ninth sister.
Ninth.
Ninth sister. Was Trilla the second?
Yeah,
Yes.
Scylla was the second.
Trilla was the second. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
I don't know if the ninth sister actually was killed though. I don't. She just force pushed her, and that was the end of the battle. I think
Yeah.
she might be dead, but I feel like it's left to interpretation.
It's
Right.
ambiguous. Nobody's really dead when they fall.
Nobody's
off.
ever really gone. Right.
Yeah.
Well, we have somebody new. We're gonna give this a shot. It always scares me when people don't have their camera on, but
All right.
I swear to Bob, don't do anything funny. Hello?
Hi, Commander. Hi, everybody.
What's up? You're a little staticky.
Sorry, I have a really trashy internet connection.
Ooh. Okay, I think we're gonna pull you off. Something's going on with your mic there. But thank you for dropping in. Appreciate it. Stay in the chat. We want to talk with you. It's really staticky.
Yeah,
I don't know what's
unfortunate.
going on there.
So there was a book listing that says the Book of Boba Fett premieres on Disney Plus December 2021.
Mhm.
Season 3 of The Mandalorian premieres on Disney Plus spring 2022. Features photos and dialogues from the hit series. Graphic novels are a major growth category. So I thought they weren't. So I thought they were just starting to film Mandalorian. Do you think they filmed it beside Boba Fett?
I think they did some of it, yeah.
That's interesting. Spring 2022, I guess, is Mando unless they delay it.
They're
Yeah.
supposed to start shooting in September, what they said.
Yeah, I hope it's a book listing. So, Screen Comics.
It would probably make sense to like cross over like the shootings of Book of Boba and Mando, since like I'm guessing Boba is going to appear in Mando too. So
Yeah,
or maybe
Mando's for sure gonna
or
be in
maybe the
Boba.
other way around too. So
Yeah, they
Yeah.
said there's going to be like cross pollination all over the
Right.
place with these new shows.
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
that would
Yeah, they're
make
fleshing out the universe. I'm fine with that, honestly.
Yeah, I
Thanks
like
for
it.
world
Yeah.
building. I just keep expanding. You know what I mean? We've got our tree root with everything with Mando, and it's time to start branching out.
It kind of makes sense because we saw with Marvel they have the show break, a little month break show, and a little month break. Oh, another show, Loki. So I think they're doing the same thing with Star Wars, where Boba Fett. Oh man, no more Star Wars. Oh wait, Bad Batch season 2. Oh, no more Star Wars. Oh Mandalorian season 3. I'll take that. So that's interesting. They're chugging the content frequently. They don't want it to end, basically.
Well, yeah, make some money.
Make some money. Obsession.
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What's up?
You made it.
Yeah.
How you doing? We haven't talked to each other in a hot minute.
Yeah, since the implosion.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
Yeah, for you guys. Seems like. Seems like everybody had a rough week. Everybody shut their streams down. Everybody said, "We're taking the week off." Everybody's pissed off.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at.
The whole world's angry at us.
Yeah, I think I just kind of took a back seat for a little bit. Chill. Get back to what's important.
I haven't stolen anything. My nose isn't going to grow.
What the hell?
It was fun on ABJ's stream. I had a good time over there arguing with Jay.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Did you guys catch my bet?
What was the bet?
So he's under the impression that they're going to, not under the impression, he's of everybody's mindset that all y'all are worried about Kenobi and that it's in Deborah's hands and that, Kathleen's going to come in and muck it all up. And, I don't buy into that school of bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm not getting on that school. They can't really mess up this one, or they will literally the fandom will light Galaxy's Edge on fire.
They can't, or they shouldn't.
No, they really can't. Dave
Yeah.
Filoni, as executive in charge of production and story, cannot allow this to fail, or he loses his position. Right?
Yeah. And we lose Star Wars.
And then it goes back in the hands of one of the suits. Like that's what I'm saying is like Filoni, and after rewatching the director's stuff on Mando, the making of Mando.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau just have conversations about Star Wars, right? Like the bounty hunter conversation they're having about Boba at the end of the episode when he saves Fennec. Like just the conversation they're having in the tent in Video Village is the conversations we have.
Yeah, they're sweaties.
So to have this impression that Kathleen's in charge. Yes, she's the CEO. And if you understand corporate structure, the CEO is in charge of making sure that the shareholders in the board of directors and the Bobs are happy. She no longer has a foot in the story department unless she's working on Indiana Jones. She's not working on Star Wars right now. So
you've been listening to a lot of Pasha, haven't you?
No, I've been reading a lot. I've been paying a lot of attention. And so I'm actually going to do a stream where I tape $100 bill on the wall back there with Jay's name on it.
I do remember. Yep.
And I bet him 100-1. So he's got to give me $1 if he loses, and I'll give him $100 bill if he wins. So
what's the metric?
The metric is if they break the Vader canon, right? So like if he leaves Tatooine without Luke leaving first. So like if Owen and Veru take Luke on a trading mission, a trading thing to a water planet. Mm-hmm. Kenobi either stows away on the ship or follows them with a tracker. That's the only way I can see him leaving without it being a break in continuity. So stuff like that. Like if Vader shows up on Tatooine, I lose. If Kenobi fights Inquisitors on Tatooine, I lose. Right? Like there's.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
But what if like an Inquisitor is like it gets the track on Obi-Wan, and that's the reason why he leaves, so he doesn't lead the Inquisitor to Luke because he would follow Obi-Wan because the Force is stronger than Obi-Wan at that point.
But the point is that look what happened when Ezra and Kanan showed up. Vader showed up. Look what happened when Ahsoka showed up somewhere. Vader showed up. Look, every time there's a Jedi in this time period, anytime there's a lightsaber that's turned on, Vader is showing up because he's on the hunt for Kenobi, like a dog on a bone.
Yeah, he's number one.
Right. And so if anybody feels or on Tatooine a lightsaber turns on Tatooine, Vader's going to show up. And that breaks continuity for me. Because if they feel him at all, the hunt is on for Kenobi and his secret is no longer safe.
That's a sticky situation, man. I don't know.
No, it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I don't see Vader touching the sand of Tatooine.
Not well,
no,
and
it's
Jay
Force
mentioned the
Sith
comics and
everything.
all that shit.
Right.
I had heard before Bad Batch came out, I had heard rumors that Tamora Morrison was going to come back as Cody, and he was going to lead
Right.
a squadron similar to what Crosshair is leading. And I think you could replace the Inquisitor with Cody, and then that will get Kenobi to leave Tatooine, and then Vader will send his lackey after. Basically, everyone's got to find Obi-Wan because he's in the open now. He needs to clear the way so he could go back to Tatooine without all this fluff behind his back. So that's how I don't know how they're going to do that, but I'm looking forward to it.
He either leaves Tatooine or Imperial troops come to Tatooine, because Ewan McGregor said in an interview, that Vanity Fair one that you and I looked at, X-Wing, that he had to sneak past stormtroopers.
Right.
So they're either there on Tatooine or he had to go somewhere.
yeah,
They're there the whole
they're
time.
definitely there.
They're everywhere, but they don't know him as a Jedi. They know him as Old Man Kenobi, the old hermit that lives on the end of town, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if he sneaks by him, he might have to sneak by a Cody or a clone here and there, but he's not going to be doing battle with troopers. He's not going to be engaging in lightsaber battles with these guys. If anything, he's going to be using a blaster because he doesn't want to turn on his lightsaber, because he doesn't want to attract that attention.
I think the cantina scene with him and Luke was the first time he ignited his saber since Revenge of the Sith.
Right, and it felt that way because everybody was in awe.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they had known him as this old man who just came into trade, or this wrinkly old guy. They didn't look at him as this dangerous person. That's why nobody.
Unless he killed anybody that had seen him do it. You know what I mean? You got to tie up your loose ends.
That's a dark Kenobi, though. I mean, I don't think they're going to go into a nasty dark Kenobi while he's on the last mission of his order. You know,
but if it would stop him from being discovered, I think he would go to a great many lengths.
That, and he's got to have some severe PTSD.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to see the PTSD. I think we're going to see him with campfires in the middle of nowhere, looking in the fire and seeing Vader's face in that fire burning, and then a flashback to their, Anakin rescuing him in that nest of Gundar or whatever. You're going to cut back to a bitchin' flashback where it's going to be like bad memory versus good memory, or cut to him suffering and then cut to Vader in a Bacta tank suffering, right? Like
or standing at Padme's grave on Theed.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Like heavy, bro.
Oh man.
Can you imagine?
Oh, that'd be deep.
But I do have some stuff I'm interested in talking to you guys about. I want to know what everybody thinks is going on with Hauser.
Everybody thinks Hauser's like I can't figure it out. My brain hasn't unwound it yet. I have no theories.
I just don't understand how the Empire is allowing, because none of the other clones are acting like him. Everybody's under the witch's spell except for him. Like, what's going on with him? Like, does his chip not work? Did Rex get to him early and nobody's really paying attention? Like, I gotta know, because
May I repeat my theory?
Go ahead.
So what I've been talking about earlier was basically that, at least something that people and I were talking about, for the possibility of the chip kind of wearing off over time or losing kind of its functionality, and that it's kind of it is very prominent with Generation 1 clones, because they've been there from the beginning. So I mean, and I honestly don't think that the Kaminoans really expected Generation 1 clones to survive the entire war. So I think they're just not set up for lasting that long. So that would also explain why Rex was able to fight the chip for a solid few seconds before he turned. And so I'm thinking that maybe this is kind of the reason why he got sort of parts of his personality back, his relationship with Chem, and him still calling General.
Well, he's disobeying orders, though. That's the outright thing, is he's disobeying orders because everything has to be reported. And when Hera breaks the barriers, that's supposed to be reported up. So like everything he's doing is wrong and breaking orders.
Well,
Right.
I
And-
think
and Order
yes, that
66 is
one
still very
specifically,
much-
yes.
You know, because Crosshair is still acting a doof, and the rest of the clones are still acting a fool. So it just seems like it seems like something's up that they're not paying attention to on Ryloth.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely didn't seem too keen on the orders. He did follow them. I think that one with like the restricted zone was kind of like a gray spot that he was like barely able to like let it play out as like, I won't report it this time, but it can't happen again. I mean, he did follow the orders of like arresting them and stuff, and but he always didn't seem too keen on fighting basically his allies.
Yeah, you saw the struggle on his face. He was
Right.
reluctant to do it.
And yeah, and he's like one of the first clones that we saw that would take off his helmet in like direct contact with others. Like normally they are all keeping their helmets on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He seems like his chip is either deactivated or his chip is, you know, malfunctioning now. There's still a lot of Generation 1 clones like Cody and these other guys that are still following orders, but it seems like he is not under the spell of the chip right now. And this is a big thing, you know, because, you know, could clones like that start to, you know, form an alliance for the clone, you know, for the clone civil war, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it varies also very much because so I don't know for sure if that's how it goes, but like I remember on the second Battle of Geonosis we heard that Rex was actually part of the first Battle of Geonosis. Cody wasn't. So I'm just guessing that Rex is older than Cody.
Which is funny because Cody outranks him.
Right.
I know.
Exactly. but it's just interesting because like in Order 66, like Cody was just like, yes, my lord, blast him. Like
Yeah, no
Rex
questions
was like,
asked.
oh, now like
Hesitation.
fives. Find
Yeah.
him fives. So it is interesting how the chip can react very different to each other. And I don't know if that's like purely because of like the time period. Or something else,
I mean,
but
it could be stuff like, you know, battles that they've been through. You know, they could explain it through like an EMP, like an EM pulse that fried the chip inside certain batch of clone heads. Because
Too close
every
to an
battle,
ion cannon.
yeah, it just depends
Yeah.
on, you know,
I'm
they
trying
could
to remember though,
I
in like
didn't think
Clone
about
Wars,
that. That's cool.
when they were using those droid poppers, I mean, there were clones around when they were using those droid poppers, you know.
Right.
So like that's an EMP.
Right, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. If an EMP fries all electrical devices, then why wouldn't it crack an inhibitor chip? Right?
well,
Right.
but the inhibitor chip is not technical; it's organical.
Right.
It's in the brain.
Yes,
still a chip
So-
though. I mean, organic.
there are
organic
organic
chips still-
inhibitor chips. That is,
Organic chips still have.
they specifically say they're organic in the Fives arc.
Hmm.
When they're pulling them out on Camino.
Yep.
They
I
were
mean-
like saying those are organic inhibitor chips.
Look what I mean. Some chips get damaged, so
Oh no, I'm totally So, like things could damage them for sure.
because they're not all in the same battlefield. You know, they're all in different parts of the galaxy, getting beat up in different ways. So
right.
it's very well, and it like you know, Clone Force 99 doesn't subdue until several
Well, I mean,
days after the rest.
look at the clone trooper from season 6 of the Clone Wars. I think his name was Tup. His inhibitor chip malfunctioned.
Yeah.
I mean, so I feel like it's not uncommon for clones chips to malfunction. Because look how many clones there are. There's probably going to be like a couple we might not even know of whose chips have malfunctioned because there's millions of clones.
Right.
Well, and not hearing the words, you know, like cut, not hearing the words Order 66. You know, he never heard the order, so it never goes off in his head. So
Exactly.
Right.
yeah, I'm curious. I knew they made the toy of Hauser, I think, and they, you know, so
which is weird because he's called Ballast on that.
Right.
Yeah,
But
wasn't
he's
he
called
that
Hauser.
first clone commander that executed Order 66 in episode 1?
On Depa, I don't
Ballast?
think so.
No,
Yeah, on
Ballast
Depa.
is not the first commander.
No?
No.
No,
They had
because
the
this was
same
like
armor.
His name is. Hold on.
Greaves.
Mm-mm.
No, Grease got
Gray.
the camo.
It was Gray,
Gray.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
something like that. It was like
Captain Gray or
green.
Commander Gray?
yeah, Commander Gray.
Yeah. Okay, come on. I was gonna say yeah, because Grease got like the camo look.
No, Gray, not
Yeah.
Gree.
Gree was decapitated
Right.
by Yoda.
Gree was on Kashyyyk, my
Yeah,
man.
Gree was taken out by Yoda.
Yeah.
Pretty sad. Had pretty sick armor.
Yeah.
They did.
I want to buy one of his helmets, but they're like $300.
Yeah, shiny.
But
Shiny.
speaking of the action figures, I just gotta thank X-Wing again for the
Ah.
trivia prize.
I just picked up 2 more, so we're gonna get rolling on the trivia for sure.
Yeah, trivia.
I still don't know how we got Wolf though. I ordered Rex, so I'm pre-ordering them and shipping them to my house now just to make sure I get the right stuff.
Yeah.
You get your Trapper Wolf action figure?
Trap.
Oh, the Dave Filoni figure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Has that gone on sale yet, or are they just saying
I-
that he's gonna be there? It's gonna happen.
It, the way they were talking, it's already happened. I haven't looked.
Oh, really? I might have to buy one of those.
I haven't looked yet either, so
Oh, it's
Yeah,
it says coming soon.
coming
Yeah.
soon. Oh.
Yeah.
there's a bunch of vintage collection stuff that's pre-ordered right now. Kind of sifting through, finding what I want. I'm spent. My brain's. I'm wrecked. I have like nothing else really. I want to talk about with Star Wars right now because Go ahead.
I know when Indiana Jones is set, the new one.
yeah, isn't it like the '60s or something?
Yeah, there was a set that was trying to replicate the Apollo 11 parade when they came back
Mhm.
from the moon. I still think it's going to be about those Nazi scientists, and they're trying to make a Fourth Reich, and Indiana Jones stumbles upon it. But it was something in the past, so yeah, it's interesting. Again, I'm like hesitant on the whole indie thing, but I'm excited to see Harrison Ford. I think this might be his last role. I think he's going to retire after Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah, man. He
I hope
walked on the
so.
set and broke his leg.
I'm sorry. Like at this
Yeah.
point, I don't believe him anymore.
He actually hurt himself a couple times. It's common for him to hurt himself during
Right.
Indiana
Yeah, it's almost
Jones.
like he's got brittle bone disease.
He broke his
Yeah.
back during.
Let's do an action movie.
Yeah.
Crashed his
Get off my
plane.
plane.
I w-
Clint Eastwood does movies in his 90s.
Well, he's just
Yeah.
in a chair going, "Get off my lawn."
That's because he's directing and executive producing. That's the only reason he's still allowed to work in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
So, what do you guys think about the directors of Boba?
Of what?
Book of Boba.
The 4 directors that were announced on Boba.
So who is it? Chow?
Rob Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
Bryce Dallas
Honestly,
Howard,
already safe. Robert Rodriguez is all we need.
Bryce
Robert
Dallas Howard,
Rodriguez.
and
Robert.
Dave and John.
Yeah.
Are the
Yeah, I'm
4
super happy with that.
Good
Definitely.
choices.
No complaints.
And now I'm wondering if we're gonna see Ahsoka because that'll be a Dave episode for sure.
Yeah.
In Book of Boba?
hmm
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you'll see
I
this
don't know.
too.
I don't see
It's been
I mean,
rumored
the-
she's going to be in almost all of them.
Yeah.
And all? I don't know.
Not
I
all
don't-
the episodes, just like every show she's gonna
Yeah,
be
she's
making
gonna,
an appearance in.
Like,
Yeah.
pop in and go, "Hello."
Yeah.
I mean, if it makes sense, I'm all for it. But I just
Yeah.
don't really see her being around
I mean,
Boba.
if it's on the road to Thrawn and he's got information, then
Oh,
I can
yeah, sure.
totally see her walking in Luke style and like
Right.
like choking out some some security guards and walking in and being like, "So, here's my lightsabers on the table.
Yeah. Where's
Let's
Thrawn?
let's have a conversation about information I need. What do you want? What can I give you? You know,
I'll
Yeah.
get you
I don't think there's going to be so much of a battle as look. I knew all of the clones, and I know you hate them, and me too, because they killed all my friends. So
But
let's.
she doesn't hate all of them.
That's as far as he knows. Come on, she ain't got to tell the truth.
Right, but he was the most connected bounty hunter in the galaxy.
Well,
Yeah.
okay,
If
so
anybody could get information, it'd be him.
I did watch the full animation of the released or unfinished Boba Cad Bane scene.
hmm
And in that, it's kind of like, it seems like, and this is what I've been talking about the whole time, is Django was the most badass bounty hunter in the galaxy until Mace killed him. And then it became Cad Bane, the time of Cad Bane. And Cad Bane became the most ruthless and feared bounty hunter.
Correct.
But then there's this scene that I hope we're going to get in live action, which would be sick. And it's of all of the bounty hunters, right? So basically, you guys all know the scene goes where Cad feels like he's got Boba in checkmate because he's got his squad. But then all the bounty hunters kind of lay their weapons down and go, let's see who's on top. Let's see who the baddest mofo is. And then comes the duel. Yeah. I think that would be epic to see in live action.
They say we give the kid a shot.
Yeah, give the kid a shot. Everybody puts their weapons down and everybody drops everybody that they're holding hostage, and it's mano on mano, and then that's the moment where Boba becomes the most feared bounty hunter.
Yeah.
William
Dafoe for Cad Bane?
Yeah.
I'm all in.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
See, I think we should do that like Rob Rodriguez did with his Lego toys or with his Star Wars toys.
Yeah, his action figures and stuff. Remake
you got enough helmets. We could definitely make that happen in the desert. Come on.
Yeah.
I see a comment. Okay, a Pato wannabe. He's talking. He's dissing Harrison Ford as the athletic type. If you want to see Harrison Ford run, you need to watch, I think, is his best movie, and it's called The Fugitive. He runs in that movie. One. Oh yeah, he's nonstop, and that'll make you say, "Nah, he is the athletic type."
Not anymore, man. After I saw him run in Force Awakens, I was like, "Oh, buddy."
It's like, he got hemorrhoids or something.
You could tell that hurt. He's like,
Got those old bones.
Let me get my walker.
Actually, he's back.
There's a good comment from Red Sun Gamer before, like, bro, where are all the other like clone trooper variants? And that's like also one of the things that I was like, dude, like when we see all those like captains or commanders like Commander Gray and like Captain Ballas or Hauser, whatever, but like all the other clones are just white, like shinies. Like what happened to all, like they didn't just like stop repaint, like the 327 Star Corps, for instance, they had all the gear. Like every single normal trooper had all the gear. Yeah. So I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make them all faceless. They are
stormtroopers,
inhibitor chip, but that's just, there are so many legions, and they all like had their specific armor at that point.
I mean, but you don't know that Order 66 didn't come with protocols that say turn in your armor and
like despecialization of units.
Yeah, like these are also order. We don't know that order didn't say, okay, as soon as this is done, turn in your armor and get phase 2 armor, because you even hear Rex say it later in Rebels. You hear Rex talk about the phase 2 and stormtrooper armor and how it sucks compared to phase 1 armor, right? And so I think that might be what they do, is like all phase 1, you are no longer a clone trooper, you're a stormtrooper now, regardless if you're clone or commissioned. So I think that's kind of how they're writing it, is that only the commanders haven't changed yet because they're still serving alongside senators and they need to be recognizable. But the rest
and it has to make sense when they say they fly now. Like nobody knew that.
Yeah. I just I mean, like for instance, like in the, or I don't know, at least that's how I imagine it. Like back in like the Dark Lord book, with like Vader going out with the 501st. Like since they called it the 501st, still I just imagined them. They still had their painting, like their blue paint. I just don't see, like, how would they do it? Like, would they like scratch off the paint? I mean, at this point,
you give them all new shiny because the Empire's buying brand new stuff from.
It's got all be clean.
As I said, I get what they're trying to do. I like, as Red Sun Gamer said, I'm not a fan of it. I want to see clone airborne troopers and stuff. Well,
and the Senate no longer has to. The Senate no longer has to like say, oh, this is for the war, right? There's no longer two sects of machines and clone troopers. Now all of that money, all of those suppliers are building one thing right now.
Right.
Imperial gear, Imperial ships, Imperial people, Imperial boots. Like that's what they're doing right now. They're not building any more Republic stuff. So, all that stuff just gets commissioned out. And I think the 501st might be the last you see with actual color because that's Vader's squad.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I just kind of felt like there was a little bit of missed potential because, like, in the second episode when they go to Seleucami was where Commander Neo's Legion was, and I really want to see the 91st. That would have been cool, but
yeah,
that's already passed.
Yeah.
Do you guys think we're gonna see, because we saw Hera at such a young age? Do you think we're gonna see her and Kanan hook up at this age, or is it going to be later?
I think it's
going to be later.
It was already established.
Wasn't there a book called like New Dawn or something?
Yeah.
Kanan and Hera.
Yeah, but they already changed Kanan's backstory. Like that's to me now that's all rubbish. Because
and why did they introduce him at the beginning of the season and then just have him disappear and then put Hera in if they're not going to put him together?
Well, but Hera's about to go on the run. Also, so does she go on the run and go to some rebel camp where, they at least see each other? I would like to at least catch a glance. Like
I feel like there's going to be something there that they might explore either like maybe in the very end of the season, or maybe if they end up doing a season 2, they'll explore it there. I don't know for sure, but I would definitely like to see that happen at some point. But I always assumed it would be when they were older.
I
think they're too young.
I just love that Chopper's been with her since she was.
I know.
Like that.
Yeah.
I was more excited to see Chop than I am. It's just stupid droids, man. I got more excited to see R2 than I did Luke in Mandalorian. I was like, oh shit, R2's there.
I lost it when I saw. I was already crying when R2 popped up.
I was like, it was like the last straw.
Yeah, it was like, oh my god.
But it was the last straw that.
R2 was the dick punch.
That was.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt about Chopper. I was like, oh, Chop, my dude is there. Like, I love that little droid because you can actually understand him a little bit. Like they wrote his vocals, so you can. It's kind of like Charlie Brown's teacher. You can almost understand the words, right? And so I like Chop because he's just like the dude.
And he also have something like 5,000 confirmed kills in the Star Wars universe through sabotage or otherwise. Like, he's a monster.
He's a murderer. He's a psychopath. Psycho little droid.
Chapo's a cult killer.
Get to the chopper.
I mean, he may have been a cult killer, but he's not R2 taking on 2 battle tactical droids and lighting them on fire and then
the BT supers
giggling away,
giggling as he's leaving. That's
R2's another class.
R2's a silent hit, man.
Yeah. What's up, Patrick? Sorry, I haven't said anything. Dude, I love your shirt, man.
Yeah, bananas.
Oh yeah,
a banana
that
shirt.
Shit is bananas.
Banana phone.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited. Do you think we'll get Chopper in live?
Probably.
We did.
Yeah, I think so.
In Rogue One.
I know this.
He was in Rogue One.
He was in Rogue One. Yeah.
Oh
Yavin
right.
base.
Yes.
But
where?
At the Yavin base.
Yeah,
At Yavin.
Yavin. Whatever.
Because we also got like the audio, like Captain Syndulla come to.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah.
Right. So they all. Yeah, I remember they had Chopper.
I just don't remember seeing Chopper. Was he like moving and talking?
No.
Yeah, no. He just like kind of rolled in the background.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
There's also I remember back when the Rebels was first coming out, like season 1 and 2, the Star Wars show or the people on the Star Wars YouTube channel would do the reviews of the episodes or like go behind the scenes of the episode. And I remember they built and they had this perfectly scaled Chopper droid in the show. And I was like, you know what? I mean, that's technically sort of like live action. It's there. So I'm assuming it wouldn't be that hard to get Chopper. I feel like we can easily get him.
No. What do you think's gonna happen in the next episode? What's your predictions?
Well, we said it was rescue on Ryloth, right? So I imagine they're pulling Hera out of there.
Hera's mom is going to die.
There you go.
Yeah.
She's either gonna die or she's gonna get taken
she's
prisoner.
going to die. She's not there in Rebels.
There's my
I'm sorry,
dude.
but she's going to die. I thought she would. She was going to die this episode when we saw. Like,
I thought Crosshair was going to shoot her.
Sniping.
But and if you remember, I'm pretty sure in Rebels, Chance and Dula talked about Hera's mom's death, and he said that she died when Hera was at a really young age.
Right.
So I mean, like I feel like it's happening, and it bums me out because I kind of liked her mom. So it's like I don't want to see her die.
Cool. Those are both great characters.
I don't want to see them go. It's not fair.
I really like the fact that Jem is like in the Clone Wars. He was also like sort of an extremist, and like now he's kind of like trying to do the best for his people and like trying to keep the peace. But I feel like at the point where like that's Chopper. At the point where like Hera's mom is going to die, I think that's like the point where he's like completely going extremist again, like kind of like Saw.
Yeah, I said he's going to totally pull like maybe like a Saga or just go full extremist. And he's going to go dark for it. He's going to go dark.
Yeah, I mean he's dark in Rebels.
Yeah,
quite.
And Rob, that's what we were talking about. We think it's interesting that they're bringing up Hera and her arc, and right in the very beginning they brought up Kanan and his arc, and it kind of seems like it's definitely all kind of headed that way.
Well, and like I've been saying, this is a lot of connective tissue. This whole Bad Batch is basically giving us the strings that connect everything to everything. How did Hera? What happened with Hera? We got the backstory, but what happened with Hera and her mom, and why did she become this rebel? Why did she become a pilot? And then you get the Kanan story of how he got out there. Where Chop came from. I would love to. This would blow my mind if they do this shit. They've officially blown my mind whole. But if we get to see Zeb,
sorry.
See, I need the line under that greater than sign. I need greater than or equal to. Like that.
There you go.
That doesn't work for me.
That works.
But I would like to see Zeb, maybe. Or like Sabine, we saw a bunch of Sabine backstory in Rebels, but we just got a little bit of Zeb. So how cool would it be to get a little bit of Zeb and the Lasat genocide?
I was about to say that could be something that we could see.
Yeah.
Like maybe
as someone who's not a huge fan of Rebels and not a huge Zeb was like my least favorite character from the show. I really don't care to see that, but like if they were to see it, I still think it'd be pretty interesting.
I mean, it would be the Empire slaughtering a population, so I mean, I'm down for it.
I mean, it makes the Empire more terrifying.
We're gonna see the genocide of Geonosis at the hands of the Empire before the season's up.
Yeah, I won't say the name of the episode, but I think that's one of the upcoming, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Something wasn't there something about the hive or something like that?
Or genocide or some shit.
Infestation.
It's infested. Yeah, I just don't want to leak in case.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I think is coming up. I think they're definitely going to show because they show that in Rebels also. They show that one Geonosian left with that one egg, like one queen egg, and it would be cool.
Just Finding Nemo.
So something that like T-Money and like some others have been talking in the VC earlier was like the idea of like we've heard the rumors of like having like a Bad Batch season 2 or like a follow-up animated series. Like it doesn't even need to be named Bad Batch. But what if it kind of like since we only have 5 episodes, it's kind of like hard to think that we're going to see the Camino uprising or something big. I feel like. But like our idea was like that at the end there's going to be like a pretty big like shootout between Crosshair and the Bad Batch, and basically like every one of these like troopers that Crosshair is under his command are going to die, and like he's going to get a more special squad called Delta Squad or Imperial Commandos. And he's basically going to fit in the role that Sev had originally because sniper.
He went missing.
I don't know. I think we're going to get more closure than you think in the end of the season. I mean, it's only 5 episodes, but they could definitely stretch out the last 2 episodes, like part 1, part 2, both hour long.
If they do that, yeah. But I'm not sure.
I don't see a second series coming up. I don't see them doing a second animated series that picks up right where we left off. I don't see them continuing this like a season 2.
I think this
agree.
this stuff has to be, in my opinion, this whole season is set up for what's coming. They have to show us where everybody is and where everybody ends up at the end of the season to basically connect Mandalorian, to connect Ahsoka, to connect Andor. All of these little pearls
Right.
set out so that we
Yeah.
pick them up. And that's what I feel. I just feel like this is connective tissue of what the stories that we already know and the stories that are coming that we don't know about. So I think we're going to look back at this after next year and rewatch Bad Batch after next year and go, holy crap, they set us up here for this. They set us up here for this. And we're going to watch that Bad Batch with a little more respect.
Right.
A little more
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
Because we're going to realize how much they fed us and how, like I said, Dave Filoni's playing a chess game. We're playing checkers. That
Right.
dude's playing chess. So
Yeah.
he's 15 to 20 moves ahead of us.
I don't think.
Go
I
ahead,
don't.
Clint.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't-
Omega's the armor.
I
That's
kind of
40
don't
checks.
think that the Sid side quests aren't. I don't see how some of the Sid side quests are connected.
Crit, you're
connections.
just banging on it. Like we know,
Well, the Sid
it's
side quests,
character development, but
the Sid side quests are showing how the Ryloth rebellion started at
Right.
Clone Force 99's hand, at Sid's hand. How did how Omega becomes who she might end up becoming? I don't dislike the idea of her maybe becoming the armorer, right? I don't disagree with that.
I don't
because-
see it.
I don't see
don't
that.
see-
Why should she? Like
But-
she doesn't have connections to Mandalorians.
yet.
Well, I mean, she kind of does.
Child.
Technically.
And they
that
love-
is very
they love
loose, my
foundlings.
man. That is very
I don't know.
loose.
She's Jango Fett's clone. Of course, she's got a
and
tie to
they
Well,
love
Mandalorian.
foundlings.
and he's
Like-
exiled by the Mandalorians, so I mean,
I feel like they do something bigger
Yeah.
with it. I don't know.
They could,
Yeah,
but I mean, you got to
yeah.
think about it. She would be the perfect kind of character to stub in there because she would be the ultimate foundling, right? And she would, if she finds out her lineage, potentially could go to that, the opposite of what Jango would have been, which would have been, Death Watch, which is the way that the armor seemed to have been pushing. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. She goes
But
missing.
for
and
me,
then-
even then, then you have to start thinking about accents, right? If they'd have made her more of like a Tim Morrison sounding Mandalorian, it would have made sense. But she's got
But-
like a very regal British accent.
But Hera changed her accent, right?
Yeah, I was
something
thinking that when I was watching
This
it. I'm
was
like,
something that we were talking about in ABJ stream was that Hera changed her accent. Well, she did that. If you watched Rebels, and when they go back to Ryloth, she slips back in her accent when she gets real pissed off at her dad.
mhm.
And that's very indicative of like anybody whose English is their second language. That's the first thing you do when you get real pissed off. You go back. My French buddy, when he gets mad at us, he starts yelling at us in French, and I'm like, "Oh man, that sounds so awesome! Like keep cursing
Yeah.
at me in French. It sounds rad."
Yeah.
But
I
it seems
just
like
looked up. Oh, sorry.
no, but it seems like that's what they did that with Hera. Why couldn't they do that with somebody like Omega? I got to hide my accent because I'm on the run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just looked up the
Makes sense.
actress for the armorer, but I don't know. I don't see the.
Well, if she never
Uh,
takes her helmet off, it's not a problem.
If we never
Well,
see
that-
it.
Sure,
That's the
but
other
I
thing
feel
I was
like if
gonna
it would
say.
be Omega, she would take her helmet off at some point.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe.
Could
I
still
don't.
be.
I don't think it's because why would she not take her helmet off and spew "This is the way"? But yet she was like a clone years before, and Din was recruited by the Mandalorians before she would be around. So I think it just messed up the timeline too much.
It would
Yeah.
be a.
Yeah, that'd be tough to explain.
But like Rob says, man, this is all the fun anyway.
Yeah,
Right. No. Yeah.
You know how Boba Fett had a white costume? What if she inherits something similar to that?
That would be cool.
Prototype armor.
Yeah.
Right. I'd be down.
A couple people were saying that it'd be cool if she was the one in the prototype armor, but I mean, we already kind of got. I think it wasn't the cartoon where he's riding the dinosaur and he's in the prototype armor.
That is
Actually,
not
he had
the prototype
base.
armor.
Wasn't he in the
That armor
prototype?
was based
No.
on Mando's armor before he got the Beskar
Right.
armor.
The one
Right.
in the Holiday Specialist, Mando's armor, and
Yeah.
I think
And the rifle.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the concept
The
art,
Emblem rifle.
Boba. I think there's just like action figures and art of him.
Also, I just did a quick search on just one where the Geonosians wiped out, and it said sometime between 10 dBY and 3 dBY. So I'm not sure if we'd
Whoa.
see it
Oh,
this time.
Yeah, that's way
I-
distant future.
Yeah, I know that the Geonosians were like part. They were like working on the Death Star project originally, and then
Mhm.
they were wiped out, and then they got
10
transitioned.
BBY Kenobi.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Although that seems a bit like sidetracked from like
Right.
What's actually going on with him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know the Ryloth Rebellion is kind of sidetracked from what the Bad Batch has been doing all this time, so
Yeah. That's fair.
they go off on a little side thing. Gentlemen, I got to bounce.
I was
Bye,
thinking I
Daryl.
gotta bounce.
Thank
too.
you, X-Wing, for having me on.
Hey,
Yeah,
take
no
care,
problem, guys. Thanks for dropping by. We appreciate you.
See you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Everybody
See ya.
here, just take care,
Take care.
guys.
Have a good
Have an
one.
awesome
Good.
night.
Boom. Bam.
Gotta get
Breathe
that
space.
boom, boom, boom.
I got that
Oh,
space.
oh, got somebody else.
Hey.
Hey.
Going on, lads.
Simple
So,
man. He's
Yo,
a man
how
with a
you guys
plan.
Doing good.
Good.
Really
I
great
don't know
stream
if
so
I've
far.
heard
I
myself.
love all the comments. And also your theories are pretty good. I'd say
That's
they're
the fun
pretty
part.
Pretty decent, you say? Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Like kind of
You're not a fan of them entirely?
I mean, they're above average, nothing special.
above average.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
heard
so
that
much.
You're average.
You have no idea how much that means to me.
You're welcome, X-Wing.
Dude, I don't know. I wasn't sure what he was talking about. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So what's the panel's exposure to Star Wars? God, we
Star Wars, everything.
all of it.
I ordered 10 books last night. Or 9.
Did you?
Yeah, I've never really gotten into the books. I mean, I've always felt like school's been my priority, but like I've gotten really into wanting to read recently, so I ordered like 9 off of a website last night.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've gotten into the hype as well. Like I've ordered like all the Republic Commando books. I've ordered those Jedi, Sith, and Bounty Hunter books.
Yeah.
Those are really awesome. Like I've read a bit into the Bounty Hunter one.
Mhm.
That's some good stuff.
I found myself really liking all the Sith stories
Mhm.
when it came to the books. I was a big fan of the Sith stories because it's something that we just don't get.
Yeah. Hopefully we get that with Acolyte, though. And it's not tame. I want, like, really good, dark stuff. Not some slightly Sith, not very angry person.
Yeah, we do have to
Passive
remember it
aggressive
is still Disney, though.
Yeah.
It's still
Right.
Disney. Has Disney ever made an R-rated movie ever?
I don't-
I think they're going to make Deadpool 3, and that should be R-rated.
Oh no!
If they don't, that's not going to be good.
Was Logan rated R?
Yes.
Yeah.
Logan was
Yes.
rated R.
You might
Yeah.
be
And that's a
surprised.
Disney movie?
That
It's-
was Fox.
yeah. I mean,
Did they already own Fox at that
I don't
point?
know if they already own
No,
Fox.
they didn't.
Not sure,
Hold it
but
down.
yeah,
Yeah.
Logan is R-rated.
You guys might be surprised they actually did make R-rated movies, but they didn't put the Disney name on the movies. It was called Hollywood
Right.
Pictures. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
And I think Miramax is owned by Disney.
Everything's
See,
owned
like
by
all
Disney.
the
owns
stuff
everybody.
like Pirates of the Caribbean, that's all Disney stuff, and I mean
Yeah.
that can be pretty dark and grungy and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I feel
Yeah.
like if they made that kind of a feel for a Sith movie, I'd be super up for it.
I would be
Absolutely.
Right.
So I was watching this video today that was talking about how Dooku in the last appearance before Dooku and Anakin met in Revenge of the Sith, they were
Mhm.
on Pike. They were on the Pike planet,
Right.
and it was really interesting at how smart he really was. Dooku really was in lightsaber combat because he knew Anakin and Obi-Wan so well after fighting them so many times during the Clone War that he knew to put Kenobi on the offensive side of the duel and to put
Right.
Anakin on the defensive side because Anakin was the master of offense and Kenobi was the master of defense. So in that last duel, I watched it like 5 or 6 times. it was really interesting to watch how he played a chess game while in lightsaber combat with these two masters. Like he was so good that he knew how to offset the balance to win between those two. And it was really interesting to like look at that dissection of how Dave and George know this so well that that's the chess game they're playing without anybody else knowing. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like everybody's worried. These guys are playing moves so many moves ahead that we don't even see.
Yeah.
That and that's why I put my money where my mouth is, because I don't think that they are gonna mess up Kenobi. I think everything is gonna flow like it's supposed to because it's Dave. It's Dave at the helm. It's Dave behind the wheel. It's Dave commanding the troops. And
he's passionate. He cares about George the way that I think a lot of other people have said that they do and they don't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's his true mentor. Like I don't know if any of you have ever mentored or been mentored, but like that relationship is deep. Like it's not like master and apprentice, but it's mentor and apprentice. It's a total relationship that you build this camaraderie and this trust. And that's why Star Wars is so effective to so many people, because a lot of people, especially when it first came out, there was a lot of that camaraderie, apprentice, mentor programming in jobs and work. So a lot of people connected to those things. But it's a big thing, and I think that's why Kenobi's story is so tough.
Yeah,
because he watched somebody he cared about like family, and that's basically how I look at Dave and George. They're like family, like they're kindred.
Yeah. That's why I'm not nervous for any of the new shows. I think all of them are going to be perfectly fine.
I can't wait to take Jay's dollar and put it on my wall. Dude, I can't wait. I got a spot for it. It's going to go right over my right shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still just nervous though, man, because I think this is my problem. I always create expectations in my mind of what I want to see, and then if it's not realized, I'm always a little disappointed. But I'm hoping they're going to blow me away with something that I didn't expect, and it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the fact that they did a full page one rewrite after Dave took over is a big sign. Like, they did a full page one rewrite, and now everybody seems really happy going to work, right? All these interviews with Ewan, all these, Deborah interviews, all of the stuff that they're doing right now, everybody's happy because it seems like the ship has a direction.
Right.
And that's, you could tell by the energy on the set of Kenobi, just by the pictures you see of them in trash bags covering their wardrobe. They're still smiling wearing those trash bags, And so I think that the fact that they went back and Dave was like, yo, we cannot put this out there. They will lynch us. Like they will literally burn down Galaxy's Edge and come storming at Lucasfilm's farm, at the ranch. So I really feel, and I understand everybody's concerns because of what happened with the sequel trilogy, but I feel like since Favreau and Filoni have been at the helm, Mandalorian season 2, and all the lead up into the new shows, they've given us what Star Wars really looks like.
Right.
That's why I'm not nervous. If Kathleen was still in charge of story with Pablo, then I'd be real sketchy nervous. But I feel like they put the right people in the right position.
Just to add on to that, something I really believe that Dave Filoni is a master of is understanding what is important to the fandom, what characters, what themes resonate a lot to the fandom, and you can just tell from the way he would dig through legends and pre-existing content to see if there's something they could just take to implement into the Clone Wars or the Rebels series. I could just tell that he put what the fandom wants first, more so than trying to get more newer people interested in something. But I believe that's at least for me, an old hardcore Star Wars fan. That's why I'm not so nervous about the Kenobi show going forward.
I think he's just doing service to the true story of Star Wars, and I think that the fans are an extension of that, right? Like we want the true story of Star Wars. We don't want this business version of it, and I think it's the same thing. I'm agreeing with you. It's the same thing. I think him doing service to the true story does service to the true fans. And
yeah, and look what that did. Look at how many people got dug into Mandalorian because they were doing it right. A bunch of new people.
Yeah, look how many new people are like, oh my god, do you guys know about this Mandalorian and this Ahsoka character? Like she looks awesome. And I'm just like, bitch, read a book.
Yeah. Watch the animated stuff or something.
You know, I'm thinking more like, come on in, come in.
Dude, Oh yeah, I think it's great. And
join us.
They're just, you know, for so many years there was like, oh, Star Wars is so dumb. Like, how can you guys? And then now all the people that were saying that like 5 years ago are like, have you seen this Mandalorian show? Like, I didn't know Star Wars was that cool. I'm like, I will smack you.
Yeah, the Star Wars nerds are the cool guys now.
I swear there wasn't this many Mandalorian fans just 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and look at where we are now. Everyone wants to be a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Well,
these people.
Well, I mean, you know, it's funny because you look back at like some of the movies that have these Star Wars, just these one-liner Star Wars references. You know, like, oh, you're a big fan of the fat, like Kevin. You know, Kevin in a Die Hard movie, he's like, oh yeah, you're a big fan of the fat, and it's like normal Muggles, the regs aren't really paying attention to that. It's just a line in the movie, right? But all the Star Wars fans are like, oh, there's a big Boba Fett behind him. That's fun. You know, so. Just in pop culture, also, I think that you're going to see more and more of these non-Star Wars fans start to come out of the woodwork and be like, "Oh, this stuff is awesome," you know, because there's a cool way to get into it now.
So,
absolutely. Go ahead, Crit.
I think we're in a good age of Star Wars. What Star Wars needed and it finally got was constructive creative control, because you would have this woman bring in these different creators and go, okay, give me your idea. Oh, I like that. Okay, here's the money, do it. And then when they're in the and sometimes she would go like, no, you're doing it wrong, we gotta redo it, etc., etc. It just became a hashtag. And then some of these ideas, you know, you have people that know Star Wars now that understand it and can say no, yes, no, yes. Back then it was just, oh man, I like this guy's ideas. Pablo Hobdingus, write it in the visual dictionary.
Yeah.
So we have a man who is saying yes, no, we should do this, we should do that. I like your ideas. That's what Star Wars always needed. Kevin Feige is to Marvel as Dave Filoni is to Star Wars. So,
right. The only difference is Kevin Feige has been at the helm since Jump Street with the expanded Marvel universe, and there was too many captains on the ship.
Yeah.
Initially, and now that all the rest of the captains have been tossed off, these are the guys. And another reason that it was so easy for the regs to get into these to now get into the Star Wars universe is you have half-hour shows. They don't have to sit through 6 hours of the movies, right? You can get them in on a half-hour show and lure them in.
Right.
Instead of a 2.5-hour movie, you have to explain. This is a whole new story that they can get into a half hour at a time, and it's a little easier for them to digest. And then they're like, "Oh shit, there's lightsabers in this. Well, there's lightsabers in all the stuff I used to hate. So let me go watch that stuff now." So I think that's a big part of it. It's easier to digest. It's 30 minutes, you know.
Obsession, I never got to actually talk to you that much. I want to pick your mind, actually. What makes Star Wars to you? Because for me, it's more about an internal emotional level of struggle, more so than the lightsabers and the cool space battles. I'm curious to hear what you think makes Star Wars Star Wars.
Star Wars is a feeling, right? Like Star Wars isn't a directorial type. It isn't a script, yes, but it's no different than Harry Potter. It's no different than any of these universes that have been created for us. It's a feeling you get. You know when it's
Except
right.
it's better than all of them.
Besides that,
You know when it's right and you know when it's wrong, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can go off for days on what's wrong with Harry Potter because I'm a huge fan. I read all the books. I dove in. But for Star Wars, it's a feeling. It's
right.
It's not just about, because they hit all the nails on the head with the sequels, right? They built the story that they were supposed to, but it didn't have the right feel. It didn't feel right. It was hard to digest for some. I appreciate all of it for what it is. For me, those are just the sequels are an extension. It may not be the extension I wanted, but it's just an extension of the story. Now, I feel that it's just a feeling. I can't really describe it any other way. Like the Force is the Force.
That's the best way to describe it. Yeah.
I was
just
about to say there are like I've seen people that were like, oh, I know everything, like everything, but it was quite obvious that they did not understand what was the point.
I'll give you.
They could tell me like really like detailed stuff about like that and that book, and like I've read them all. Like yeah, but you don't seem to grasp it. Like I will always appreciate the person more that like understands the feeling of it instead of the one that just basically like completely brains everything.
Well, and I'll give you a perfect example, right? So I'm a big fan of The Big Bang Theory. I think that show is comically so well written, and I enjoy everything about it. They don't give us everything you want at the end of the show, right? There's still stuff that I'm real pissed off about that they didn't give me, that I'm like, you can't have a show that goes on this long and not give me certain things, right? And answer certain questions.
Right.
With Star Wars, there's always more questions, right? So like, for instance, there's something, it's been since the 70s. Tell me what race Yoda and Grogu are and Yaddle. Tell me what planet they come from. Anybody.
It's a mystery.
Right?
Nobody knows.
It's an answer, a question that has never been answered or really asked, right? Because we don't care.
You're expected to understand the universe or accept the universe as it is.
Right. And that's Star Wars. I'm okay with never knowing that species or how they reproduce or if they are just an enigma of the Force.
Right.
When one dies, another one's born.
I'm super okay with not knowing how they reproduce.
Honestly, I want them to keep it a secret.
Right. I don't know if Yaddle lays an egg and Yoda sits on top of it. I don't know how it works. Right. I don't care, but I know that it's a feeling that I have, and it's almost it sounds super geeky to any other room of people, but it's almost the enigma that is the Force. Right. You know it when it's right. You know the feeling. You can feel it. That's really the only way I can break it.
And when it feels wrong, you know it immediately.
Oh yeah.
Like wait a minute.
Bad burrito. You're like, oh, that was a mistake.
No.
I hope that makes sense to everybody. That's the way I look at it.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a good way to put it. I'm still like I'd love to at one point, maybe 10, 20 years later, maybe after we've actually had time, we're still processing the social effect that Star Wars has had on pop culture and so on and so forth. Maybe one day in the future we'll be able to write down exactly what Star Wars was, and I can't wait to see that.
Well, and here's something that's going to boggle your mind: is that in 100 years, if another species comes to this planet, will they look at our dolls and our collectibles as worshiping relics?
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
You, Vader.
I think it was like Cameron was saying. It's our modern day Odyssey. It's our Iliad. It's our legend. Just like Homer, any of the old Greek stories, and when they would build temples and things like that, they couldn't mass produce little tiny, Homers. So they built temples, and
is real. I mean,
Well, I mean, whatever.
It's real to me. But yeah, I mean, that's how I would really break it down. Is that it's to all of us, it's a feeling, right? And even though there are masses that hate the prequels, there are masses that hate the sequels. It is, I think, all of us have the same feeling when we feel it's wrong.
Right. What's up, Timeline?
Hey,
Oh, hey guys, thanks for
Hey,
having me.
what's up?
That was super quick. I don't mean to butt in. It was just you had such an engaging conversation. I thought I'd just say hi to Mr. X-Wing there.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I know.
Good
and
to
just,
see you.
It's lovely to hear you talk. Please commence. I just wanted to add a couple of things that Lord Crit was saying that I felt was quite on point.
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh, no! I don't want. I don't want to just
Go
butt
on.
in the middle of your
This
conversation.
is no.
Go
This
for
is
it.
this
Yeah.
is free forum, man.
take
Well,
the
yeah,
stage.
it's the one of the reasons, and again, not to add my channel, it's not about me at all. It's about what you guys are talking here. One of the reasons that I started my YouTube and the Facebook group was to try to engage and try to kind of like understand and digest how people react to sequels. Honestly, for all of us, we all come into it from different backgrounds. We have like prequel lovers, we have sequel lovers, like myself, guys who are a little bit older, but I've learned through the process of being taught animation. I have like BA in animation degree. What Lord Crit is saying is that look, you have this woman, right? Because the conversation got to Kathleen Kennedy, and you have the new head of Lucasfilm, and she's trying to channel creativity and say, well, this is direction is going to go here or there. I just wanted to say that like it's just one person's point of view, but she's trying to do right by everybody, just like everybody else, like Ryan Johnson, JJ, everyone. I think everybody's in the business of making a movie that pleases everyone, because that's the business. That's what George Lucas was in it the first time he tried. He wanted to make a movie that people enjoy watching while making money. And
I think Ryan is the only one I would disagree with you on
I
there, because he's
disagree
on
with
record
you.
saying, I hope I make a movie that half people love it and half the people hate it.
perhaps I don't
Yeah.
want to extract him by the soundbite of whatever quote has been used here and there. I think it's everybody's idea to try to create something good that they believe in, and sometimes they fail. And I think Lord Crit, that's something that you were perhaps saying, maybe I misheard a little bit, is that the effort is there, the heart might have been in the right place with sequels, but sometimes it just doesn't click, it doesn't connect, and the audience reacts in the way that we do.
I just think that the sequels stain was the lack of leadership to say, and not even in the story position, not even in the story position, just in the leadership saying we can have separate directors.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's where you make mistakes. Now, when they're doing it in episodics, it's different because every episode is supposed to have a different feel, right? Is supposed to take you on a different journey leading to the same point. But there were still executive producers, Dave and John, that were making sure that they stayed on point, that were on set, making sure the story was leading in the right direction. The problem with the sequels was there was no direction after hearing from all of the actors. There was no direction from the top. And basically the reins were handed to two directors saying, hey guys, do your thing, instead of following this story arc. And that's really where they fell off. I don't blame the directors directly. They made great films. If you look at them as independent films, not associated with one another, they look great. Some of the battles are some of the sickest battles I've ever seen. The Jakku Starfighter, TIE Fighter, Millennium Falcon scene was an epic fight scene. Just great, regardless of who's piloting. Take the pilot scenes out of that, it's amazing. But
it's pretty.
The leadership did a piss poor job, didn't do their jobs, and that's why Kathleen doesn't have that job anymore, because she proved she couldn't be trusted to be lead of story. And Pablo also, you're not worthy. Get to the back, write some stories, and maybe we'll put some of them in. So
send out the nerds.
I don't blame JJ. He made two awesome movies, and I don't blame Ryan. He made a nice movie, but I blame the people that were in charge, executive producing.
That's a very, very, very interesting way that you just layer it and the way that you talk about it. It's honestly, I didn't quite hear somebody talk about it in this manner. That's very, very interesting. That's very refreshing.
You have to keep the kids on a leash, man. And they just gave them the playroom, and they're like, well, do something.
Yeah, change the story if you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say I don't care to a director, because they're going to be like, yeah, let's get dirty. You know.
Well, JG was like, yeah, maybe we should have had a plan. Like,
Well,
honestly,
JJ should. I hate to say this because I'll probably catch a bunch of stones for this. JJ should have directed all three.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Waited for him to fulfill his other obligation that he put in the middle.
Yeah.
Or paid him more money, or whatever the controversy was, and had him direct all three. Because then I feel we would have got the Star Wars that everybody would have been able to be like, maybe one, maybe no, but not the way that the fandom is right now.
We would have gotten a rehash of the original trilogy, but that would have still been better than what we got. So
right.
I personally think that the sequels, as a byproduct of having this sort of splintered imagination and vision, was that there wasn't a single overarching theme between the three films that I can pinpoint specifically. Whereas for the original trilogy, it was about the main theme was redeeming your family, believing in your family, believing in yourself. And for the prequel trilogy, the overarching theme was how even the best of us can fall to our inner demons. And for the sequels, I have trouble still pinpointing what the overarching theme was supposed to be.
I could see it being finding yourself or something in relation to Rey and her not knowing who she is or whatever.
But the strength of that message was still a bit, I guess, weak for me.
Yeah. I feel like the message in the sequels for me was, and it kind of goes to Rian Johnson's end of his movie when the little boy picks up the broom with the Force. I feel like the overall theme of the sequels is it doesn't matter what family you're born into. It matters who you want to be and being that. And I feel like
until that got changed.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end she's still her own person and choosing her path.
She works. Yeah. I think what you're saying is, and I would agree, is that she works best when she's a nobody versus that at the last moment they basically pulled Palpatine out of the magician's box and like, look, Palpatine is here. And for me personally, I felt that we all understand that sequels are flawed, and for me personally, the prequels even more flawed because I felt that they, regardless of how they're filmed, I felt they were principally against everything that George Lucas has established in the original trilogy. Being an 80s kid, I grew up with those movies first. And I honestly didn't have any expectations watching prequels. All I wanted to see back in 1999, I was a 19-year-old, I wanted to have a good time. I didn't know where these movies are heading. I don't know what they're about. Just show me something cool. And I was a bit confused, like, hold on a second. Why are we going back in the story instead of moving forward? But regardless, let me just see what they are and try to join them on that merit. But I think, if from the sequels, The Last Jedi was my personal favorite. And I think the concept of what could have potentially been done correctly with the sequels is that story. And Obsessed, I would like to just reiterate what you were saying, is the idea of a nobody becoming somebody, just like Luke was before his name became this grand idea, the Skywalker legacy, the family. He was just a regular boy from the countryside, a nobody, not a super attractive actor, just a regular person attaining a great achievement.
Well, and also it seems like for the message, I like going back to the Yoda Luke scene is like, the true burden of a master is letting go of your apprentice. Right. The true burden is that they're going to be better than you and they're going to go further than you. So that's the true burden of a master. And I feel like that finishes this. Like for me, if that's the last full length movie we get with these characters, cool. But for me, that scene there encompasses what really those heavy burdens that the masters had is that, all of you that we train are supposed to lead us later. Right. Yoda's the only one that got to see generations of Jedi mess up and fall and mess up and fail. And really it's the idea that failure is okay for me. That's I guess that's a better interpretation of what the sequels are to me is that failure is okay. It's okay to fail as long as you dust your knees off, learn what you messed up, and then get back in the fight. And we see that when Rey goes back to Octu. Right. And her and Luke both have their moments of dusting off their heels and finishing the fight.
Great point, man.
Rob, I just wanted to let you know really quick. You had said prequels, not sequels. That's why you guys are agreeing to disagree there. He's talking about the prequels.
For me,
he was writing that the prequels were crappy, so I was like,
he meant sequels. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're all good. I
might still hate the prequels. I don't know. I mean, I love the prequels. I accept them for what they are. They're a space opera. It's really dramatic space opera-y. And visually, I think they're absolutely awesome. The only thing I really wanted was a bunch of Jedis doing cool Force stuff. I was 9, so I'm like, cool. Let's see space ninjas with laser swords.
X-wing. Once again, guys, it's real. First of all, it's honor and pleasure being here with all of you. And
Thank you for coming.
So
Yeah,
nice.
we appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
It's
great
so
talking
nice
to you.
hearing diverse opinions, picking people that just talking positively about it and trying to like digest and break it all apart what Star Wars means to all of you. I just wanted to also add, again, coming from the creative field, is that I love. First of all, I think it's the greatest time to be a Star Wars fan. I love the fact that it's going through this very transformative period. To every Last Jedi that fans don't like, there is Mandalorian. To everything that somebody may not enjoy, there is like the new, I felt, canon books that are happening right now, dealing with like Clone Period, with the High Republic era. I just freaking dynamite, bro. If one area where they were really, really focused and channeled ideas and channeled concentrated their authors around, it was the canon novels. I've been reading for perhaps like 20 plus years of the Legends materials. I'm like, okay, let's see what's on the table here with all this new stuff. Is it going to be up to snuff? Let's give it a fair chance. So I start picking up novels from actually prequels, which, again, I became a believer and follower through the books, reading the prequel novels back in the day. I'm like, all right, let me pick up this Master and Apprentice book, see what this
Master and Apprentice was great.
Claudia Gray is all about. And I'm reading, guys, I kid you not. And again, not the biggest prequels lover. I never realized I would actually miss Qui-Gon Jinn so much. I get goosebumps just talking about that book. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, just pick and choose. You have Bad Batch. Okay, you don't like Bad Batch. You got Rebels. You don't like Rebels. Try something new. It's the period, I believe, where Star Wars actually needed to go, where they stopped looking behind their shoulders and ask the question how George Lucas would have done it, but break the formula, break the convention, and see what other possible directions they could go with. Because frankly, for me, Skywalker Saga ends with Episode 6. Let's not front. Luke, Leia, all of them, they have logical conclusion to their stories.
Yeah.
Leave those legacy characters alone. Try something new,
No, I totally agree.
I think Dave Filoni said at one point that you can tell any story within the Star Wars universe, and I forgot what the rest of the quote was, but I think that part it goes along with what you just said there, Star Wars Timeline. We can go in any direction with the Star Wars universe as long as you keep that feeling of being within the Star Wars universe. You could tell, like with the Mandalorian, obviously they've had different, they've copied different, I guess, themes of different films for several episodes, and I feel like exactly, why can't we do that? We could do that with Star Wars, with the Star Wars universe. We could do anything we want. They can tell any sort of story they want, and I hope to see a lot more, especially with stuff like Star Wars Visions and the Acolyte. I think we'll be seeing a lot more diverse stories that we would never have thought possible before.
That's exactly why I'm so excited for Visions. It's a whole bunch of new stuff that we possibly never seen before. And
I'm so glad I have you guys.
If it's not canon, it shouldn't make anybody mad.
I agree with people who think anime was a mistake, but I'm still I'm still excited to see Visions.
Can I ask why, please? Can you elaborate why you think it's?
It's I guess the generalization of how a lot of people who are fans of anime I interact with are like they seem more focused on, like, for example, there's this new word called waifus where they they kind of fantasize about having a romance with this imaginary 2D cartoon character, but in a lot of cases these cartoon characters are very they're kind of drawn in a way which is not very appeasing to me.
Hypersexualized,
hypersexualized, that sort of shit. So, like, to me, it doesn't seem like they're a fan of this thing because of the content. They're more a fan of it because it's kind of fulfills their own desires in a way.
Right.
So it kind of turns me off from approaching.
But it does not look at all like they're going to be, well, maybe a little bit, but it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that too much in Visions. I think the one thing I saw was the lady bunny with the big old boobies.
Like the baby Star Boy.
Astro Boy kind of style.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not a fan of that art style.
But the whole thing's simple is saying, I don't really watch anime. But not all anime is directly that hyper-sexualized art style. That you could select that out.
Yeah, exactly.
And that bunny stuff, try to tell myself, like, the first second I saw that bunny character, my first thought was like, oh, I don't like that. That doesn't belong here in this Star Wars universe. But I always try to tell myself, or I've been trying to, that, I mean, it's Star Wars. This universe, this galaxy is so big, you don't know what's out there. So I try not to judge that kind of stuff anymore.
The thing about the bunny girl was like the fact that she was like a bunny species wasn't even the problem, but that one outfit just didn't seem like Star Wars. It was like a gym outfit. It was a regular like
a tracksuit or something like that.
Yeah, like it just like if she would have had like Jedi robes or like anything other than that, I mean, maybe it would have been a bit better.
Have you guys? Are you fans of the Animatrix? Have any of you guys seen that?
I've watched almost no anime.
So basically, what Animatrix is when a Matrix trilogy of films came out, you know, Keanu Reeves, you know, dodging bullets and all that stuff. They had top Japanese anime studios of the day also come together and throw together an anthology of short films, which are actually available on Blu-ray, where each one of them explores the universe of Animatrix. And that kind of like spawned a tradition of Japanese creators coming into the Western culture and reinterpreting something like a popular IP. And that's basically what The Visions is. It's a continuation of that idea. And for me, when I saw the announcement, obviously, you know, most of us know the story of George Lucas, how he was raised on a base in Japan with his dad, right? He was very influenced by Japanese culture, like sports, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, the moment that I see Ronin, it's obviously, by any stretch of an imagination, it's overly exaggerated idea of like this samurai slash Jedi. But at the same time, it's not. I don't know, for some reason, for me, as somebody who like grew up with the earlier like anime before it started getting, you know, big boobs and waifus, all that stuff. You know, like animation, like, you know, the original Akira or your Ghost in the Shell, Ninja Scroll, stuff like this. And you look at this Vision stuff, I'm like, dude, Star Wars is coming home. It's embracing its Western influences once again. And perhaps, you know, I agree with all of you. There'll be some of them, all of us will look at it and be like, what the heck is, like, what is this stuff? But I'm pretty sure there'll be like one or two that'll be like, dude, I want to see more of that. Why don't they make an entire show out of that?
There were a couple that looked really cool. The art style looked cool. It looked like a real, like, kind of Kurosawa Seven Samurai, crazy looking, you know.
Well, and
like a samurai story.
Star Wars is the blending of the samurai world and the Western gunslinger. Right. Those are the two arcs of storytelling that clash in this more than anything. You have the bounty hunters and the I don't want to say pilots, but you have the bounty hunters that are very Western gunslinger, right? Very Shane, very Wyatt Earp, very Doc Holliday, right? Then you have the samurais that are the Jedi and the Sith, right? And characters like Ahsoka become a Ronin, you know, a samurai with no master. And then you have whether you want to look at it as the communist dictatorships that is the Empire, or, you know, the German regime from the World Wars, however you want to, or the Stalin regime, or whatever regime you want to look at that's very dictatorship, that's the Empire, right? So you have these three blending styles in Star Wars. That's why it's so appealing to so many people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's timeless.
And the prequels, you know, you look at it, the prequels sort of encompass the great peace of the 1920s and the 1930s before, and then the crap hits the fan
again.
And everything becomes all gray and dull, and all those colorful ships are gone, and
that's also like one of the reasons why I appreciate the politics in the prequels so much, which I have no idea why so many people seem to dislike. But they do such a great job at explaining how, like, taking over power, or like a democracy with a dictatorship, like how it works. Like he got his power legally. Like he didn't just like overthrow anyone. I mean, it was shady, but like he got it all in legal ways. And they do such a good job at explaining like that, like each step at giving him more power and more power and more power eventually resolves in him taking over and declaring the first galactic empire.
It's the old trading liberty for security dilemma.
Well, I mean, but if you look back through world history, I mean, that's how some of the best dictatorships, I'm saying best in the worst way, but some of the longest lasting, hardest hitting dictatorships were given their positions of power, and their power was the power of the people was relinquished willingly. So this is why it's so timeless, because it's happened throughout our history.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Padme's quote, how democracy dies with thunderous applause.
Strike, if I wanted to play the party of like who actually answers that question, the rhetorical question that you asked, why some people just didn't dislike it. Disliked it. In prequels, I felt that there was a really fantastic story in it. A story that I felt bogged down by like execution. Like the content is there, but the execution for a lot of us felt hollow a little bit, because when there is a monotony of conversation upon conversation upon conversation about politics overshadows the adventure and story and getting into the characters that we enjoy. Like at one point you feel like you're falling asleep, but then again, when you keep an open mind, you say, well, hold on a second, what is George telling us here? Let's find out. Okay, I didn't like these movies, big deal. Instead of spending your days on the Twitter wars, open up a book, see what's going on there. And one of the first books on Legends that I actually read was Cloak of Deception by James Luceno. He's one of my favorite Star Wars authors.
James is good.
He's awesome. And I'm reading that book, I'm like, oh my God, Palpatine is such an awesome character. And I didn't see that character in the movie. He gets that, because novel always has more room to play around and to flesh out ideas and show you who this guy is. Dude, oh my God, man. Love it.
Plagueis is one of my favorites.
It's Plagueis. Okay, sorry, I was talking about
James Luceno.
Cloak of Deception, as James Luceno. And in Cloaks of Deception, he realizes a world of what I wanted to see more on screen. And you see the strategy and the cunning of Palpatine, how he's playing that chess game, what Obsession was saying earlier, these timeless motifs of how this guy basically gulled, like he lulled the entire Republic of giving him the power. He's like, dude, I'm 20 steps ahead of you.
I will say, I just wanted to get this out of the way real quick. It's totally fine that you're not a really big fan of the prequels. I will say, for me, it always made sense that politics had a very great role in the prequels, because especially when the Jedi were talking about things, they were always talking about the political meaning of it, what the Senate was up to, and it kind of showed that the Jedi were no longer just about the Force and them being good and doing good and but rather be more focused on the politics, and it was always about let's see what the Senate does, watch out for this guy.
But like he was saying, the great, and for me, I don't dislike the Senate talks and all that stuff just because it's part of the chess game, right? It's really amazing how he drug the Jedi into being generals in a war to take them away from their ideals, and not only that, to separate them.
He manipulated them
because he knew they were stronger together. So he creates this war to drag them away from one another, to instill doubt in them, and to force them into something they don't want to be a part of. What better way? It's just amazing, the chess game that's played, and that George wrote that amazing chess game, right? That's just it. It's yes, we're all relishing in the chess game that Palpatine created, but look at the chess game that George created.
It just casually mentions the Clone Wars offhandedly. That's
I feel that
this one line.
I feel that the politics. I love politics in Star Wars in general, but for me, execution is important, and I just felt the scripts weren't strong enough. Again, for me, the idea behind the prequels was quite powerful, and I found my way into it through the novels. And later on, when they actually go into the future past the episode 6, and I start talking about the new Jedi Order, the legacy of the Force, the politics plays such a central theme in it. Like without it, you don't have Star Wars, actually. It's, you know, how people say one of the pillars of Star Wars is droids, comedy, your gunslinger, your Jedi. Well, politics has always been a part of it. And I make a statement for it in my podcast, for example, when fans say, well, you know, politics suck. We don't want to see any of it in Star Wars. That's prequel haters talking. But hold on a second. When Han Solo says, look, I ain't in it for your revolution, lady. I just want to get paid. That's politics.
And honestly, the great thing about Star Wars politics is they're like really general. They're based on philosophy. They're very general. It's nothing specific. So that's why the whole reason why Star Wars is timeless is because these sorts of like they're based on real world things, but they're executed in a way so they are very general and timeless.
Right.
Perfect point. Yeah.
Can't disagree. Well, guys, I hate to be that guy. I need to eat some dinner. I got work tomorrow. This has been an awesome panel today, man. I hope we get to see you back again. Timeline. That was
you guys are killing it. The content that you have, the community you build, X-Wing, I see you like exponentially grow day by day because it's more voices are responding to this like people who are just regurgitating these like buzz feeds and these like clickbait articles and all this like crap. Like, come on, let the real fans. Like, for example, I've Star Wars obsessed. I'm sorry if I have the ignorance of never seeing any like of your content. I don't know if you have YouTube channel.
Oh, just go watch it.
Being able to be here like and see a gentleman that I've never met before in my life talk about Star Wars in such a matter, and we could agree and disagree and share points. That's amazing. That's what we need in Star Wars, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
I appreciate you guys.
I appreciate it. The idea is to just be positive about what I'm seeing. You know, I like it all. I'm not trying to find a place to divide right now. I'm trying to find bridges to unite.
Well, and look, we can be mad about stuff. It's okay to be, you know, upset with how a certain thing went, or I don't like this portion of it. The most important part is that you just talk about it. I'm not going to go burn down your house because you like the sequels. You know what I mean? And that seems to be the community. You know, I'm not talking anybody down at all, but I'm just saying it seems to be a big part of the community that, well, if you don't like this and I like this, then we can't be friends.
Yeah.
And that's just nonsense. I hate to see it. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, go check out the channel. There's a bunch of stuff on there.
What is it called? What's your channel?
The Star Wars Obsession.
Oh, that's the exact name. Okay, I'll check it out now.
Go check it out. There's a lot of off the wall some stuff, but yeah, it's pretty fun. We're still doing more. We got a couple more videos we're working on.
And it is your channel. It's your content, right? Cool. Awesome.
There's some good stuff in there. All right, boys. Anything you guys want to say before we head out?
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
thanks for coming. Timeline.
Yeah.
Love to talk more.
So
seeing new faces.
Tuesday is going to be trivia Discord trivia. We're going to try to finally get it done this week. I just got another one in, so we do have figures we're going to be giving out. So yeah, stop by, say hi. If you're not in the Discord already, there is a link in the description. Check out Star Wars Obsession. A lot of the guys in the community have been really starting their own discussions as well. So anybody that's here, pop in, check out their channels. And listen, because this conversation, it doesn't end on Hangar Bays and it doesn't end on Boomer Council. You know, this continues every day with every single one of us. So I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much for coming. I guess that's it for me.
Peace out, fellas.
Later, dude.
Guys. Commander.